Good morning and welcome to this week's video. And in this week's video, I'm at Kilchurn Castle. It's just over my shoulder. Let's go and explore. Good morning and welcome to Kilchurn Castle. This is the wonderful Loch Orr and the castle just over there. You may have noticed something that could be a problem already. There's a huge great red digger and also a lot of fencing around the edge of it, but that's what generative fill is for, isn't it? That's what Photoshop is for, so I make no apologies. I'm going to have to clone those out. I'm here up in the Scottish Highlands again for the second kind of tour, and this is a family holiday really, or a holiday with my wife, but I couldn't resist coming this way. I'm going to go back to the lakes tonight to try and break the drive a little bit. So on the way back, I thought I'd pop in here and photograph this because I've wanted to photograph it for a while. And it's a new location, and actually that's quite good because I don't know about you, but I'm actually normally a really confident guy, but the last couple of days my confidence has just crashed, and my mojo has disappeared somewhere behind a tree, and actually having a new place to photograph brings it back. I'm trying to think why that is the case, because I've always loved photography. Photography has been part of my life since I can remember, and I wouldn't say I've completely lost my love for it 2 days ago, but yesterday I was walked up the study to photograph it, and I was walking there thinking, well, what's the point? I was here with Gary a couple of months ago, and if you haven't seen the video, I'll put it at the end, and I photographed it and really enjoyed it. And I was thinking, why am I going to do it again? The sky is exactly the same, it's no better, the light is no different. What is the point? And that's a bit of a shame. I was a bit surprised to feel that way. And then I got home, I got to the holiday house. Thank you very much, Eddie and Amy, by the way. It's a beautiful place that I'm staying in. And put on YouTube and I watched the Thomas Heaton video. Thomas is, as you know, the godfather of photography videos. He's fantastic. And I said to my wife, he's upped his game. He's using a different camera. Quality looks fantastic. His videography is fantastic. And I felt, oh, what is the point? I'm never going to get to that standard. Are my photographs even worth it? What is the point of going back? I've seen everything, which was a horrible kind of way to feel. But I kind of also, with that Thomas video, actually got me a little bit out of the mood when I woke up this morning, because Thomas said, and I've said this so many times on this channel, that if you photograph something, just go back and do it again. It's always different. It's always a challenge. Now, in my head, this was going to be covered in mist. That loch was going to look beautiful in the early morning light. We've got up really early to get here. And as you can see, completely blue sky. But, you know, the good thing about this, the water's fairly still. I can blur this out. And actually getting out and photographing things is what I enjoy doing. And I don't think I should be having my standards quite as high as what I've got them. That doesn't sound right. I want to have high standards, but sometimes it's just, to me, about the journey and about the photography and about having fun. And I will enjoy photographing this. If you go to a new place, you often get that. And I think I didn't have that with the study yesterday, but that doesn't mean I'm never going to go there again, because every time you go, it looks different. And every time you go, you come away with something that is successful. So this could be a black and white day. I'm going to probably blur the water with an ND filter. and make it really smooth and mirror-like, and that will look lovely, won't it? And I've had a lovely time out here on this beautiful summer's day photographing a beautiful scene. So I kind of feel a bit better now. I think also maybe the views on my videos kind of didn't feel like they were going up. I got the subscriber count done, and that was great, and the views just seem to be steady, but you know, that's down to me to make better videos really. So that's going to spur me on. I'm going to use it as a challenge rather than a reason to be negative. So that's got that off my chest. Let's go and photograph this. So what I'm doing at the moment is looking for some foreground. Looks beautiful, and it's going to be the lake, which I'm going to smooth out. These reeds are lovely, very delicate. I love the rocks, and there's different combinations of boulders, and more this way. So I'm just going to work my way along the shoreline and find something that looks interesting. And that will be the first shot of the day. There's also another shot I know about because I watched Gavin Hardcastle's video a couple of weeks ago, and there's a shot from inside this wall which is behind you, which I know about as well. So there's at least 3 shots here, I think, and hopefully some more. So breathe in, enjoy the day, Dave. It's a wonderful place to be. So I think I found my first composition. Working in this shadow works really well because it keeps any flare off the lens, which on a bright day like today you might have a problem with. The compositions is quite simple. It's not bad to start me off. But portrait orientation, I've got the 24 to 200 on, probably around about, let's have a look, what's we on here? Yeah, 35mm. I'm going to use a polarizer, and I'm going to use an ND filter. Now the polarizer, if there were some nice reflections of the castle, you'd have to be a bit careful with it, but day like today I would still use it. The sky is completely clear, and what a polarizer will do will darken that all down to make it a bit more dark blue, but actually I'm going to try and keep a lot of the sky out. The ND filter is just to slow the shutter speed down, because at the moment I'm getting a 30th of a second, and I want this water to blur. Okay, I mean, that's what I like. I like it silky smooth. Some boulders in the foreground here. Problem I've got a little bit is shadows from the trees behind me. The sun's directly over my right shoulder, so some of the boulders are in shadow, some aren't. I could wait and just wait for the sun to move around a little bit, which it probably will, but I think what I'm going to do is in Lightroom I'm just going to lighten those up a little bit, trying to balance out the contrast between them. And then we've got the castle top right hand side, and the whole thing is framed by this lovely tree. I don't know what sort of tree it is, but there's some leaves of the trees, some reeds here at the bottom, and then a little bit of expanse of water just in the midground. So that's not a bad way to start, I don't think. Could be end up being a monochrome shot. I don't know why I'm thinking that, but often when I get into processing, I kind of change my mind. But for me, this is probably going to be a monochrome. So let me get set up and I'll show you the shot. Okay, so the first thing is going to be polarizer. That's going to go on like that, and what I'm going to do is put the polarizer in place. That's darkened that down already because it also reduces the light. So we're going to go down now. That gives us about a 1/6 of a second, and I'm just going to rotate the polarizer until we've got out all the reflections in the water really close to me, or as close as I can. And it's That's there. Actually, there's some little light on the ground here, which that's getting rid of. That's going to even things up a little bit anyway, and allow me to brighten up a little bit in post. Just looking for the reflections. I've still got reflections off the castle, so that's going to work. I reckon about there. Next, we're going to go for something dark as far as NDs are concerned. All we've got here, this is a 10 stopper. So this is going to smash the exposure right down. So it's focused up on the castle. Let's have a little look. And then as ever, look on the display, stretch your chin, decide what's going to happen next. I think I might explore some more compositions actually, because I think there's a really nice one that way, which probably everybody gets. But again, nobody else is here. Nobody else would have photographed it today. And I'm actually enjoying it. This is new photography. This is good stuff. Okay, this is my next composition. And actually what attracted me to this, there's some little boulders in the lock here, but there's some nice light raking across these grasses, which is interesting as a bit of foreground. Obviously we've got the castle, and there's now some people there digging who I'm going to have to clone out. We've got to polarize it on, and it's making everything really rich and vibrant, which is really lovely, because these grasses are beautiful. And a 10 stop, and I've had to up the ISO to 200, which is fine quality wise, but that means that I can use 1 minute exposure rather than 4. Don't need a 4 minute exposure here, it's going to take too long. So a 1 minute exposure, that's another one done. We've got a tree casting a shadow, and the other thing you have to remember with rocks is that it's important to get them looking good, in other words the composition looking right, but they have to be kind of interesting as well. And if they're not interesting looking, they have to be in an interesting shape. And these are an interesting shape, so I think this might work. Right, I'm going to explore this wall next and see if we can't do something from back here. Okay, so this one is obviously got a lot of dynamic range here. I've exposed to this exposure, which is 4 seconds at f11. Just so I can, this is an exposure for the shadows. But if we go up on our shutter speed, you'll see that the castle comes into view. So that's what the camera is recommending. But even that, the castle's going to be overexposed. I will do one like that though, because this is going to give me a 3 stop bracket. You can see that the zebras are flashing on that, so that's 1 second. But actually that, this is about a stop under. Let's go even more than that. Make sure that castle is absolutely exposed properly. So we've now got 3 exposures, and that's probably the one that's going to look most like it, but I'm going to use the other ones, use that one as the main one, but I kind of quite like a little bit of rock, so we're going to end up with a combination of those 3. But this is definitely a nice viewpoint with this wall. I do like it. I do wish there was the mist, but it's now too late. It's now 9 o'clock, so anything that was going to be there is gone. The crane's going bonkers, so I'm going to have to do a bit of work in Photoshop. And what I'll do with that shot is I will blend them first, and then the finished, which I guess is going to be an HDR image almost, the finished image I will then look at in Photoshop and get rid or clone out those various cranes, workmen, fences, to try and get the castle looking somewhere decent. And then what I then might do is put it back into Lightroom and then adjust, make it darker, moodier, who knows. Right, so that's 3 pictures here. Just gonna have a look around because I'm sure there's other potentials, and then I might call it a day. But actually, you know what? I'm feeling better about myself already. I've come to this location on a day where the really conditions are not great. Has it been worthwhile? Yes, it has. Is it a portfolio image? No, it's not. Does that make any difference? I think last night I was thinking that it did, but actually, you know what? It's the process of photographing. It's having the time, enjoying nature, and just getting out and photographing things. And at least with this being a new location, it's somewhere out where I now know where to go. I now know where to park. I now know what conditions they're going to be when I get here. And it just means that I'll have to come back and do it again when it's misty or when it's moody, because there's always something new to see. Okay, I found this image which I quite like. Let me just flip you into the camera and show you this. So if we go here, let's get that screen so you can see it. I'm using this little river or this little inlet. So but I can see that. There you go. Oops, come on camera. So I'm using this little inlet, and there's some little wild flowers in here. Let's get my hand over there, you can see it. Some little wild flowers in the foreground here, which are quite nice. I'm going to focus stack this because we're at 24mm here, but the castle is obviously the top left third, pretty much, not quite, but nearly. Got a nice shape of the mountains, and if I show you, if I take you in the camera, just show you what difference. Can you see that? Let me just did I get to the polarizer? If you look at the sky, look what the polarizer does. So that is very flat. That looks a lot more summery, and that's how we're going to do it. It's also going to bring out the colours in the grass as well. The actual image, because again the crop ratio is different on this, but we're going to end up with more of the tree. That tree there needs to have some space light. Right, let's shoot that, focus stack it, I'll blend it together, and now I'm going to put all the images up for you to have a look at. Tell me which one you like the best. Well, there we go. I hope you enjoyed those images. It's been a good day for me. I've, as I said earlier, I was losing the plot a little bit. I felt very sorry for myself. Felt that what I was doing was not worthwhile. It was a bit boggy through here. Ugh. But I think what I've learned, I knew it anyway, really, is that what you have to do is just keep turning up. Keep turning up. Things will happen. And I'm just very grateful to be able to come and do this a lot. It's a fantastic way to spend my life, which I'm really grateful for. So I hope you enjoyed the images anyway. I'm off to the Lake District now. I'm going to spend a day or so there. I've got a nice shoot in mind tomorrow morning, if it's still like it is today, and I'm going to go out at sunrise, which is 10 to 5, so a very early start tomorrow on Lake Derwent. And if it's still like it was this morning and there's mist about, that could be fantastic. But if there's not, I'll just have to go and do it again. So thanks for tuning in. Enjoy your photography. Just keep turning up, and I will see you next time. Take care.